Hi, everyone. My name is Zach Soflin, and I'm excited to be here with you today. I am the founder and CEO of Layer, and today we're going to talk about FF&E and how we can use Layer to link our FF&E workflows to our Revit model. So I'm going to start out with a few slides kind of describing this process, and we'll go through the details of the workflow and then jump into the actual application itself. In the meantime, if you could go over to the polls section down in your bottom right-hand corner, we've got a few questions for you that you're welcome to answer. And also, if you have any questions or comments as we go through the webinar, you can add those in the questions and comments section as well. Okay, so let's dive in here and kind of frame the problem first. So in general, 85% of architects and interior designers in the US use BIM on the majority of their projects. So generally, if you're an architect or an interior designer in the US, you're using a tool, a BIM tool like Revit or ArchiCAD or something else like that to complete your work. The FF&E process specifically, though, is fairly outdated for most teams. Generally, it centers around spreadsheets with producing spec sheets and other products in tools like InDesign or others, and it becomes kind of a manual process. And if you're using your model for any of your FF&E information that you're getting, generally it's a pretty manual process as well, where you're exporting schedules to get quantities and locations and kind of comparing those to what your desires are that you might have documented in a spreadsheet somewhere. So again, this process is fairly manual when it comes to the kind of typical office in that area. So today what we're going to talk about is how we can actually utilize Layer to kind of connect your source of truth that's inside of your model and connect that to FF&E workflows that you can complete in Layer. So first, just a high-level overview of what Layer is. Layer is a flexible and easy-to-use toolkit for building information management. So basically, our tool gives you a toolkit that you can use to create hyper-customized workflows on your projects that you can deploy across your team. Layer is used in a myriad of different workflows across the building lifecycle. So we're going to focus specifically on FF&E today and what that looks like in Layer. But just know as we talk about this, one of the best parts about Layer is the flexibility of the tool and the different workflows that you can use and connect to your project sources like Revit or CAD drawings or PDF drawings. So just keep that in mind as we go through this demonstration. Again, today we'll be focusing specifically on FF&E and how it links to Revit. So when it comes to FF&E, there's really four kind of high-level parts that we're going to focus on in our demonstration today. So first, Layer allows you to create and collect all of your furniture types in a centralized library in our products. This is something that you can share across your team and even share across projects and document all of your kind of favorite go-to resources with rich info about these specifications. You can use Layer on any device, and it makes it super easy to collect all this information in one place and share it across projects. Second, Layer allows you to share and collaborate on this project in real time. So basically, you can invite team members and even outside stakeholders to add information to your project. And again, everything is accessible on any device. So you can use Layer on iOS or Android. You can use it on the desktop and on our web app, and even embedded directly within Revit itself. So all of your project information is available on any of those devices, and you can collaborate across your entire team to share data or to gather data from outside stakeholders. Layer connects directly into Revit, and when we're talking specifically about FF&E, one of the major benefits of using your Revit model is you can use your Revit model as a source of quantities and locations for your project. So you can use Layer to document all the details and other aspects of your project, but you can use your Revit model as a source of quantities and locations. And Layer will always be up to date with what's actually in your model in general. You can optionally actually sync data back to your Revit model as well, to those specific instances, furniture instances or types. So we make it super easy to get information back and forth between your Revit model and your Layer environment. And again, kind of our best practice is we're going to use Layer as a way to document all the details about our products and generate deliverables and reports. And we're going to use the Revit model as a source of quantities and locations for our project. Lastly, Layer allows you to deliver and report out of our system. So basically, you can create custom detailed reports like furniture spec sheets or purchase orders or procurement forms. You can create easy customizable reports with our drag and drop interface and create deliverables that are consistent across revisions and also across projects. You can really design it once and use it anywhere. So you don't have to rely on us to create a template for your company or anything else like that. You can build it out in our easy to use interface as well. So these are kind of the high points that we're going to hit on as we go through this demonstration. So what I'm going to do is jump into the Layer application, and we'll talk through in detail how this works, how this process works in Layer. All right. Okay, there we go. Okay, so when it comes to FF&E in Layer, like I said, our kind of best practice is that you're using Layer as a source for all of your product details, and this is where you document all of those pieces of information. And then you're using your Revit model as a source for your quantities and locations within your project. So just a quick high-level overview of the interface here, and then we'll dive into the specifics of the workflow. Within Layer, everything is organized by projects. So we're looking at a project dashboard here. And within projects, we have things called categories. And so we have a few categories listed here that kind of represent how we're using this with our FF&E processes. But you can create a category to collect really any type of information. So I can create a category here and either create from a template or create it from scratch. But you'll notice that I have a few categories listed here, like my product specs, my company directory, and my components category. So if I look at one of these, like this product specs category, for example, you can see that basically this is my library of content or specifications for my project. Again, this is something that you can take and use across projects. So you can kind of develop your library once and then use that across other projects as well and customize it from there. So if I jump into one of these, like this armless lounge chair specification, you can see when I click on it, it opens up this item's detail. So this is now showing me specific information about this armless lounge chair. So you can see that I've got things like product images, a status that I can update and change, a type, a manufacturer, components that are related to this particular chair, model number, finishes. All of these fields are included in our FF&E template, and you can get started with this right away using that template. That being said, one of the best parts about Layer is that this is all fully customizable. So if this doesn't quite fit your needs as far as what how you are completing FF&E, you can edit and modify this as much as you want. So any of these fields, I can come in here, these three dots, and hit edit field, and I can edit every detail about what information is being collected within this field. But let's say that I actually wanted to create a field that is capturing my markup percentage or something like that. I don't have that field right now. So all I would need to do is I can scroll down to the bottom here and click on edit fields, and we can add a new field. And you can see we have a vast library of field types that you can choose from. So here I'm going to scroll down to my number input. We'll click on it, and this is what I'll call my markup. I could add a description. Of this item, and we could add a placeholder. And again, we can choose the format of this, and I'm going to do a percentage, and we'll create that field. And so now you can see that I have this markup field that I can specify a specific percentage for each one of these items. So if I say that my markup on this is 3%, I can go to my next specification. And again, I'm going to have that same field there, but I can specify a different number for that particular item. And so again, that's kind of demonstrates the flexibility of this form. You can create this form to gather any type of information you want and edit your product specifications however you'd like. And then you can take that with you in other projects as well. So backing up a little bit, if we wanted to actually create a new product spec within this category, all I would have to do is hit this add an element button down here, and I could add a new furniture spec, create some images for it, or add some images to this product, and we would be able to create this new item. Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. There we go. I could add and edit my my status. We can choose the type. I can specify manufacturer. We could add any components that we wanted to this, and I can specify a model and finish, etc. So you can fill these out really quickly, and again, you can take them with you across projects as well. Okay, so that's kind of a high-level overview of how we can create and collect all of these specifications within the Layer interface. Now let's talk about how we can connect and integrate this into our model in general. So when it comes to connecting a model to Layer, we make it super easy. You can upload a model or publish a model directly from our Revit add-in, or you can upload a model manually to Layer as well. So you don't even have to know Revit in order to connect a Revit model to Layer. All you have to do is click upload a model manually and upload your file right here. And then what happens is it extracts all of the objects out of your model. It brings them into our interface and makes them available for you to both summarize and view this data. So you can see when I go to my furniture category, for example, this is showing me all of the instances coming from my model. And I can really quickly search and filter this list down to see specific items like this L desk, for example. So if I click on that L desk, you can see it opens up that specific instance, and it's going to show me, what models this is a part of, the version history of this model, like what's changed across model versions. It's going to show me parameters, any parameters that I want to see, as well as the phase it was created in, the level it's on, and the room it's in as well. And again, this is all available in our web app or on any other layer application on any device. And the nice part is that this will also show you where this item is located in your model in 3D. So I can actually look at this kind of sectioned model and pan around and see that, okay, this desk is located right here. What's nice about this too is that when you connect a model to Layer, you can also view the 3D model directly within Layer as well. So you can see I'm looking at my the 3D model of my building. I can really quickly, since I'm in my furniture category, I can really quickly ghost or hide everything that is not a piece of furniture. And you can also, within a category, cluster those elements, basically clustering them by type to give you a really quick picture of what's actually in your project. So you can see here, this is setting everything side by side, and I can see, okay, I've got 3 of these desks here. And if I click on one of them, it's going to show me where it's at in the model and all of the model details as well. Now, we've talked about how we can kind of document the details of these products, these product specifications in Layer in our product specs category. And then we covered how we can connect our model and view information from our model. But now the real power comes in for how we can integrate the two. We can use the details from my product specs and connect those to the instances in my model by creating basically relationships between those two categories. So in this scenario, if I keep scrolling here, if I'm looking at this desk, I keep scrolling down, you can see that I have this section here called spec information. So this is basically just showing me the specification that's related to this particular item. So in this case, this is relating to this table. The status is approved. Here's the model number, the unit cost, and I can look at a cut sheet of this actual desk or table as well, and we can mark it up all directly from within Layer. What's nice though is these are just the fields that I've chosen to show from my spec sheet, but I could show other items as well. So for example, I could duplicate this field, and we could edit it to show other information from my spec as well. So maybe we wanted to show let's see here. Let's show the cut sheet, or no, my website. So when I update that, you can see that now it's going to show me the website of that specification. I'm not having to manually add that. This is pulling automatically from this spec. And for every single one of these desks, it's going to pull that same information from the same spec for all of them. So you can see it right there. This works in the other direction as well, where again, as I said, a lot of times what we care about in our model is using our model as a source of quantities and locations from my model, and we're using Layer as a source for all of my details. So if I go back to my product specs category, again, this is the list of all of the specifications I have in my particular project. So if I click on one of these, like this armless lounge chair again, and I scroll down here, you can see I have a few fields that are basically telling me what is in my model as it sits today. So this is telling me the quantity of these items in my Revit model. I have 3 of them. And these are the rooms, the quantity broken down by room in my Revit model as well. So you can see that I have 3 of these. They're all in lobby 102. So if I go to another item, like this dining chair, let's say, and I scroll down, you can see that it's telling me I have 61 of these, and 60 of them are in my cafeteria, and 1 of them is in my lounge 120. You can set these relationships to match up based on any type of criteria, whether you're matching it up to the mark or the type mark parameter or any other parameter for that matter. So just as an example, this if I change this tag to something else like CH8, you'll notice that automatically these relationships are rewritten here. And so now it's looking for any item that is CH8 coming from my model. I'm going to change this back. And you can see that now those relationships were recreated with those items right there. Okay, so that covers kind of how we can connect our model and then pull out summary information in my product specs and also view my product spec information in my model. But I want to show you one other thing when it comes to our model. We're going to jump into Revit and demonstrate quickly what this looks like directly within Revit. So what you'll notice is that Layer is actually an add-in into Revit, and it's a dockable window that you can view basically your project information from Layer side by side with your model. So as you're navigating your Revit model and clicking on items, like I'll click on this chair, for example, you can see that Layer actually navigates to that specific item. So when I click on that item, it's going to show me automatically where it's at in my model. It's going to show me all this other information. And again, I'm going to be able to see the actual specification information as well. And I could view a cut sheet of this all directly from within Revit. So it makes it super easy to view up-to-date information. And if something were to change in this product spec, it's going to change it across all of these items. But one other important thing to note in the Revit add-in as well is that sometimes we want to get this information that might live in Layer here. Sometimes we want to get it back into our model. And so I'm going to give you a quick demonstration of this where basically we're going to pull up basically let's update this CH7 chair and we'll actually bring information in. Oh, sorry, we're actually going to do CH3, and we're going to bring in information like the model, the cost, and the status of that item. So from within Layer, I'll just go back to my Layer interface here, and we'll look at CH3. Here's one of them, and you can see that it's related to this lounge chair specification. So I can click on it. And we can edit, we're just going to update or edit some of these values. So I'm going to change the price, let's say, the unit cost of this item. I'm going to update the model as well. And lastly, we're going to update the status as well. So I'll say this has been ordered, let's say. Okay, so I updated basically 3 values in this lounge chair specification. When I come back into my model and I go to the Layer add-in, I can actually click this button to actually sync this data back to my model if I'd like. So I'm going to click this button, and you'll see that out of those 3 changes, those 3 value changes that we made, it's going to be making 153 parameter changes over 88 elements, basically. So I can accept those changes, and you can see that now those are all populated with parameter values in my model. So Layer makes it super easy to update that information back in your model as well for your entire team. Okay, so the last thing I want to cover is how we can actually create deliverables and reports from this information directly in Layer as well. So we're going to go back to my product specification category in Layer. And one thing I want to cover, like while we're talking about this, is the concept of views within categories. So views are actually really powerful because you can create, basically what they are is ways to create specific views of a category's data. So it's not really changing the data in the category, it's just creating a specific way to view it or look at it. So you can see that in my product specs category, I have a view called all product specs. If I click on this drop down though, you can see I have a bunch of different views that I've created here, and I could create a new view to view this data in any way that I'd like. So a few examples is I have a view that's showing me only the specifications that are approved by the owner. And basically the reason it's showing me only those items is because I have a filtering rule set up that allows me to set up that rule and save it, that I can come back to it later. I can look at specs that are still pending approval as well. And which those are all based on kind of sorting and filtering rules. But you can also use views to show your data in a different way. So far we've only kind of looked at a table view of this data, but we have other view types as well, like a gallery view, where I can create a view of my product gallery that's showing me all of my items and displaying a card in kind of a custom way that I can view within Layer. Still functions the same as any other view. It's just as far as opening up the item, it's just a different way to look at that information. Probably one of the more powerful tools, though, within Layer is a view type that we call document view. So what document view does is basically gives you a page template or a document template that it inserts the data of these items into it. So basically this is a drag and drop report builder for your category. So we can use this again for spec sheets. For our product specs, we can use it for generating purchase orders or summarizing costs, etc. You can lay out this page and in a customized way and create PDF exports of these reports. So the reason why we're looking at kind of this 8.5 by 11 page here that is looking at this lounge chair and ottoman is because the way that document view works is it kind of shows you a preview of whatever item you're looking at within your category. So if I click down here, you can see that basically this is showing me which item I'm focused on, and I can quickly toggle back and forth between these items. So I'm going to go to the next one, and you can see that the page template stayed the same, but the data is what's changing here. So you can see that as I toggle between these, my report, my template's not changing, but my report or the data within it is what's changing. So that again, and the best part about this though is not that this is just like a default page that you have to kind of fit your process in. This page is fully customizable. So you can click here to edit this page. And basically we give you a list of building blocks that you can use to create a dynamic page template to export your report. So basically you can design this page once and export hundreds of specifications along with the data that's related to them. So if you remember that markup field that we had created, you can see that all of my fields for these specifications are available for me to drag onto my document. So I'm going to grab this markup field and I'm just going to place it on my underneath my unit cost, let's say. And you can see what it does is it places that block in line with this item where I dropped it. So now I can go in and edit. I want to say that my label is going to be bold. I want to change my width or spacing between the value and the label. And you can see we can edit really any of the style of this particular item. And once you edit that, the great part is that when you move on to the next item, the style is staying the same, but the data is what's changing or updating there. So you can do this with all of this page. Like for example, with my manufacturer, maybe I wanted to show an additional column here. Like I want to show the company type, or we want to show the address or a website. You can do that. And let's say we wanted to actually avoid wrapping this, I could move this down and make it full, go across the full line here. If you ever want to change information within this item, within these items, you can do that as well by, like, let's say I need to make an edit to my armless lounge chair and I need to add a note to it. I can click this button to open it up. And I can edit any of these values, and those values will come through in real time. So if I had a note here, it says contact sign firm. We can add a note, and you can see that note immediately shows up on the spec sheet where we've placed it. The nice part about this as well is that you can use your quantities and locations coming directly from your Revit model directly on the document view as well. So as I toggle back and forth, you can see that these rooms and quantities are all based on what's coming out of my Revit model. So you can see some of these have not been placed, but some of them have been placed in quite a few different rooms. And you can view all of that directly within this document view and use it. So again, you don't need an external tool for like organizing or creating these PDFs. You can do all this within Layer, and you can design it once and deploy it across your team. So when you're done with your report, you can come up here and export this as a PDF. And basically it'll export based on your filtering, it'll export all of your product specs, or whichever ones you end up selecting as a PDF package as well. Just as a side note, you can change the page size and margins and all of those things as well. And you can create a template from this document to use in other areas or other projects as well. So the last thing I want to mention on this, and then we'll jump into any questions if anybody has any, is everything we've talked about today is available for your use today in our FF&E template. But the great part about Layer is that this is fully extensible. So you can, let's say you wanted to bring in a category to collect meeting minutes that are related to these product specs, or do a punch list based on these, based on the installation of your furniture or anything else. You can bring other workflows into this project as well. For example, if I wanted to do bring in my meeting minutes workflows, I could click the plus button here. I could choose from that template and actually just bring those directly into my to my project there. And so in a matter of a couple seconds, I now have a ready to go meeting minutes workflow that I can go to and create new meeting minutes. And again, tie all of this back to my my actual product specifications as well. So for example, I can collect all of my notes here. We could come in here and have a list of my items, need to update, and we can hashtag specific items within my project. Like for example, I can tag my armless lounge chair specification, and it's going to be tagged now in this document. And directly from here, you can create actual PDF exportable meeting minutes as well. So again, all of these are tied back to and tagged with whatever items you're referencing to them. So we make it really easy to extend this and use it beyond just your product specs and FF&E workflows. So, all right. With that, we'll see if we have any questions. So if we have time for some questions here. Somebody asked, so just a few like housekeeping ones. Somebody asked what version of Revit Layer is compatible with. So we go back to supporting 2018, and we support all the way up to the current version as well. Another question was, are the Revit families generic families or from the manufacturer's website? The great part about this is that you can use either. Layer is really, you're setting up a criteria to look at a specific parameter within the family or within the type. So if you're using like the type mark or something like that, it doesn't care if it's a, just a dumb generic box or a super detailed specification from a manufacturer. You can use the data coming from your model within Layer if it is like a manufacturer's family, but you don't have to. So Layer allows you some flexibility there with the way that works. Another question is it possible to populate information on Layer using, let's see here, like website, by using family parameter information from Revit? So yes, you can. That's what I was alluding to before, is you can use parameter data that came from like a manufacturer's family. You can use that back into your, you can use that information, your parameters, directly within Layer. So if I went to like a piece of furniture, for example, and I clicked on one of these items, you can see that this is showing me the parameter information that then I can use here, but I could add other parameters to this as well. So, you know, for example, we could look at the comments or description, any parameter that's available, you can use within Layer. All right. Let's see here. Somebody asked if we need to make sure that furniture is under a specific category. So you basically, Layer breaks your model down by category. It will separate out items into these categories no matter what. That being said, you can use Layer across model categories. So like if you have some in specialty equipment or light fixtures, etc., you can use multiple categories and link them to your product specs. So that's not an issue there. All right. Let's see if I just want to make sure I covered everything. What was recognized? When you create a field in Layer, does that push back into the Revit family? Good question. So it doesn't by default, but basically you can set up a parameter sync rules, what we call them, where basically when you create a field in Layer, you can optionally choose to push that data back into Revit. So we deliberately don't sync data by default back into Revit, and that's to keep your model small and efficient. Again, we just kind of tightly link to your model, but you can choose to write any Layer field data back to a parameter as well. So that's a good question. All right. Well, with that, we'll go ahead and call it a day on this. If you're interested in seeing how Layer can help you transform your FF&E workflows at your firm, you can click on this link to schedule a customized free demo with our team. We'll do a demo with your team and talk about your pain points and how we can tailor Layer to fit those needs. So please click in the link that we just shared with you here and schedule that call today. So with that, we'll go ahead and end it. Thank you so much for joining.